Nothing repels thy displeasure but thy pardon. Nothing grants sanctuary from thy punishment but thy mercy. And nothing will deliver me from thee except pleading to thee before thee. 5. So bless Muhammad and the household of Muhammad. And give us on thy part, my God, relief by means of the power through which thou bringest the dead servants to life and revivest the dead lands. 6. 14. Destroy me not through gloom, my God, before thou respondest to me, and givest me the knowledge of thy response to my supplication. Let me taste the flavor of well-being to the end of my term. And let not my enemy gloat over me. Place not my neck in his power, and give him not authority over me. 15. My God, if thou raisest me up, who is there to push me down? If thou pushest me down, who is there to raise me up? If thou honorest me, who is there to humiliate me? If thou humiliatest me, who is there to honor me? If thou chastisest me, who is there to have mercy upon me? If thou destroyest me, who is there to stand up for thy servant against thee, or ask thee about his affair? But I know that there is no wrong in thy decree, and no hurry in thy vengeance. He alone hurries who fears to miss, and only the weak needs to wrong. But thou art exalted, my God, high indeed above all that. 16. O God, bless Muhammad and the household of Muhammad. Make me not the target of affliction, nor the object of thy vengeance. Respite me, comfort me, release me from my stumble, and afflict me not with an affliction in the wake of an affliction. For thou hast seen my frailty, the paucity of my stratagems, in my pleading to thee. 17. I seek refuge in thee today, my God, from thy wrath. So bless Muhammad and his household, and give me refuge. 18. I seek sanctuary in thee today from thy displeasure. So bless Muhammad and his household, and give me sanctuary. 19. I ask thee security from thy chastisement. So bless Muhammad and his household, and give me security. 20. I seek guidance from thee. So bless Muhammad and his household, and guide me. 21. I seek help from thee. So bless Muhammad and his household, and help me. 22. I ask thee for mercy. So bless Muhammad and his household, and have mercy upon me. 23. I seek sufficiency from thee. So bless Muhammad and his household, and suffice me. 24. I seek provision from thee. So bless Muhammad and his household, and provide for me. 25. I seek assistance from thee. So bless Muhammad and his household, and assist me. 26. I pray forgiveness for my past sins. So bless Muhammad and his household, and forgive me. 27. I ask thee to preserve me from sin. So bless Muhammad and his household, and preserve me, for I will not return to anything thou dislikest from me, if thou willest that. 28. My Lord, O all-loving, O all-kind, O possessor of majesty and munificence, bless Muhammad and his household, and grant me everything that I ask from thee, seek from thee, and beseech from thee. Will it, ordain it, decree it, and accomplish it. Give me good in that of it which thou decreest. Bless me in that. Be gratuitously bountiful toward me through it. Make me happy in that of it which thou givest to me. And increase me in thy bounty, and the plenty of what is with thee. For thou art boundless, generous. And link that to the good and the bliss of the next world. O most merciful of the merciful. Then you supplicate as seems proper to you, and you call down blessings on Muhammad and his household 1,000 times. This is what he used to do, peace be upon him. 1. That is, the 10th of Dhul al-Hijjah, which marks the end of the Hajj and is one of the two major festivals along with the feast of fast-breaking celebrated universally throughout the Islamic world. 2. 3. 26. 3. By this station is meant the leading of the prayer of Friday and of the day of sacrifice. The latter of these prayers is 5. So thou looked, my God, at my weakness in bearing oppressive burdens, my inability to gain victory over him who aims to war against me, and my being alone before the great numbers of him who is hostile toward me, and lies in wait for me with an affliction, about which I have not thought. 6. Thou set out at once to help me, and thou braced up my back, thou blunted for me his blade, made him, after a great multitude, solitary, raised up my heel over him, and turned back upon him what he had pointed straight. So thou sent him back, his rage not calmed, his burning thirst not quenched. Biting his fingers, he turned his back in flight, his columns having been of no use. 7. How many an oppressor has oppressed me with his tricks, set up for me the net of his snares. appointed over me the inspection of his regard, and lay in ambush for me, the lying in ambush of a predator for its game, waiting to take advantage of its prey, while he showed me the smile of the flatterer, and looked at me with the intensity of fury. 8 So when thou saw, my God, blessed art thou and high exalted, the depravity of his secret thoughts, and the ugliness of what he harbored, thou threw him on his head into his own pitfall, and dumped him into the hole of his own digging. So he was brought down low, after his overbearing, by the nooses of his own snare, wherein he had thought he would see me. And what came down upon his courtyard, had it not been for thy mercy, was on the point of coming down upon me. 9 How many an Evier has choked upon me in his agony, fumed over me in his rage, cut me with the edge of his tongue, showed malice toward me by accusing me of his own faults, made my good repute the target of his shots, collared me with his own constant defects, showed malice toward me with his trickery, and aimed at me with his tricks. 10 So I called upon thee, my God, seeking aid from thee, trusting in the speed of thy response, knowing that he who seeks haven in the shadow of thy wing will not be mistreated, and he who seeks asylum in the stronghold of thy victory will not be frightened. So thou fortified me against his severity through thy power. 11 How many a cloud of detested things thou hast dispelled from me, a cloud of favor thou hast made rain down upon me, a stream of mercy thou hast let flow, a well-being in which thou hast clothed me, an eye of mishap thou hast blinded, and a wrap of distress thou hast removed. 12 How many a good opinion thou hast verified, a destitution thou hast redressed, an infirmity thou hast restored to health, and a misery thou hast transformed. 13 All of that was favor and graciousness from thee, and in all of it I was occupied with acts of disobeying thee. My evildoing did not hinder thee from completing thy beneficence, nor was I stopped from committing acts displeasing to thee. Thou art not questioned as to what thou dost. 1. 14 Thou wert asked, and thou bestowed. Thou wert not asked, and thou began. Thy bounty was requested, and thou didst not skimp. Thou refused, my master, everything but beneficence, kindness, graciousness, and favor. And I refused everything but plunging into what thou hast made unlawful, transgressing thy bounds, and paying no heed to thy threat. So thine is the praise, my God, the all-powerful who is not overcome, and the possessor of patient waiting who does not hurry. 15 This is the station of one who confesses to lavishness of favors, counters them with shortcomings, and bears witness to his own negligence. 16 O God, so I seek nearness to thee through the elevated rank of Muhammad, and the radiant degree of Ali, and I turn to thee through them, so that thou wilt give me refuge from the evil of so and so. 2. For that will not constrain thee in thy wealth, nor trouble thee in thy power, and thou art powerful over everything. 3. 17 So give me, my God, by thy mercy and thy lasting bestowal of success, that which I may take as a ladder, with which to climb to thy good pleasure, and be secure from thy punishment, O most merciful of the merciful. 1. Allusion to 21, 23. He is not questioned as to what he does, but they shall be questioned. 2. For, so and so, the supplicant should supply words appropriate to his own situation. 3. 26. I ask thee to pardon me and to forgive me, for I am not innocent, that I should offer excuses, nor a possessor of strength, that I should gain victory, nor have I any place of flight that I should flee. 8. I ask thee to release me from my stumbles, and before thee I disavow my sins, which have laid me waste, encompassed me, and destroyed me. I flee from them to thee, my Lord. Turning repentantly, so turn toward me. Seeking refuge, so grant me refuge. Asking sanctuary, so abandon me not. Requesting, so deprive me not. Holding fast, so leave me not. Supplicating, so send me not back disappointed. 9. I have supplicated thee, my Lord, as one miserable, abased, apprehensive, fearful, quaking, poor, driven to have recourse to thee. 10. I complain to thee, my God, of my soul, which is too weak to hurry to that which thou hast promised thy friends, or to avoid that against which thou hast cautioned thy enemies, and of the multitude of my concerns, and of my soul's confusing thoughts. 11. My God, thou hast not disgraced me through my secret thoughts, or destroyed me because of my misdeeds. I call upon thee, and thou respondest. Even if I am slow when thou callest upon me, I ask thee everything I want of my needs. And I deposit with thee my secret. And him who disbelieves in thee, each one will taste death. 2. Each one will come home to thee. Blessed art thou and high exalted. There is no God but thou, thou alone, who hast no associate. 6. I have faith in thee. I attest to thy messengers. I accept thy book. I disbelieve in every object of worship other than thee. I am quit of anyone who worships another. 7. O God, I rise in the morning and enter the evening, making little of my good works, confessing my sins, admitting my offenses. I am abased because of my prodigality against myself. My works have destroyed me. My caprice has ruined me. My passions have deprived me. 8. So I ask thee, my Master, the asking of him, whose soul is diverted by his drawn-out expectations, whose body is heedless because of the stillness of his veins. 3. Whose heart is entranced by the multitude of favors done for him, whose reflection is little concerning that to which he is coming home. 9. The asking of him whom false expectation has overcome, caprice has entranced, and this world has mastered, and over whom death has cast its shadow. The asking of him who makes much of his sins, and confesses his offense. The asking of him who has no Lord but thou, no friend besides thee, no one to deliver him from thee, and no asylum from thee except in thee. 4. 10. My God, I ask thee, by thy right incumbent upon all thy creatures, by thy mighty name, with which thou commanded thy messenger to glorify thee, and by the majesty of thy generous face, which ages not, nor changes, nor alters, nor passes away, that thou blessest Muhammad and the household of Muhammad, that thou freest me from need for all things, through worshipping thee, that thou distractest my soul from this world, through fear of thee, and that thou turnest me back toward thy abundant generosity through thy mercy. 11. To thee I flee, thee I fear, from thee I seek aid, in thee I hope, thee I supplicate, in thee I seek asylum, in thee I trust, from thee I ask help, in thee I have faith, in thee I have placed my confidence, and upon thy munificence and thy generosity I rely. 1. Allusion to 35:28. Only those of his servants fear God who have knowledge. 2. Reference to 29:57. Every soul shall taste death, then unto us you shall be returned. 3. The commentator suggests that the stillness of his veins alludes to the health of his body, which in turn brings about comfort and ease, making him heedless of God and the next world. 4. Another allusion to the prophet's supplication, cf. 48.13. 1. O reliever of worry, O remover of grief, O merciful in this world and the next, and compassionate in both, bless Muhammad and his household, relieve my worry, and remove my grief. 201. O unique, O eternal refuge, O he who has not begotten, nor has been begotten, and equal to him is not any one. 1. Preserve me, purify me, and take away my affliction. Here you should recite the throne verse 2. 255, the two suras of taking refuge 113 to 114, and unity. 112. Then say, 3. O God, I ask thee, with the asking of him whose neediness is intense, whose strength is frail, whose sins are many, the asking of one who finds no helper in his neediness, no strengthener in his frailty, no forgiver of his sin other than thee, O possessor of majesty and munificence. I ask of thee a work through which thou wilt love him who works it, and a certainty by which thou wilt profit him who is certain, with the truth of certainty concerning the execution of thy command. 4. O God, bless Muhammad and the household of Muhammad. Take my soul while it is firm in sincerity. Cut off my need for this world. Make my desire for what is with thee become a yearning to meet thee, and give me true confidence in thee. 5. I ask of thee the good of the writ that has been made, and I seek refuge with thee from the evil of the writ that has been made. 2. I ask of thee the fear of the worshippers, the worship of those humbly fearful of thee, the certainty of those who have confidence in thee, and the confidence of those who have faith in thee. 6. O God, make my desire in my asking like the desire of thy friends in their asking, and my fear like the fear of thy friends. Employ me in thy good pleasure, through works in which I will not leave aside anything of thy religion, fearing any of thy creatures. 7. O God, this is my need, so make my desire for it great. Within it make manifest my excuse. Through it instill me with my argument, and by means of it make well my body. 8 O God, some rise in the morning, having trust or hope in other than thee. I rise in the morning, and thou art my trust and my hope in all affairs. So decree for me those which are best in outcome, and deliver me from misguiding trials. O most merciful of the merciful. 9 And God bless our chief, Muhammad the messenger of God, the chosen, and his household, the pure. 1. Surah 112. 2. Allusion to such verses as 8. 68. Had it not been for a prior writ from God, there had afflicted you, for what you took. A. 10 Glory be to thee, present in every assembly. 11 Glory be to thee, object of great hopes. 12 Glory be to thee, thou seest what is at the lowest depth of the water. 13 Glory be to thee, thou hearest the breaths of the fish, in the lowest depths of the oceans. 14 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the heavens. 15 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the earths. 16 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the sun and the moon. 17 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the darkness and the light. 18 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the shadow and the air. 19 Glory be to thee, thou knowest the weight of the wind, how many times it is greater than the weight of a dust mote. 20 Glory be to thee, all holy, all holy, all holy. 21 Glory be to thee, I wonder how any who knows thee could fear thee not. 22 Glory be to thee, O God, and thine is the praise. 23 Glory be to God, the All-High, the Almighty. Al-Zuhri related from Sayyid ibn al-Musayyib. 5 He said, 1 My God, let not my enemy gloat over me, and torment not my dear kinsman or friend through me. 2 My God, of thy glances, give me one glance, and thereby remove from me that by which thou hast afflicted me, and return me to the best of thy customs with me. Respond to my supplication, and the supplication of him who devotes his supplication sincerely to thee. For my power has become frail, my stratagems few, my situation severe, and I despair of what is with thy creatures. So nothing remains for me but hope in thee. 3 My God, surely thy power to remove that in which I dwell is like thy power in that with which thou hast afflicted me. And surely the remembrance of thy acts of kindliness comforts me, and hope in thy showing favor and thy bounty strengthens me. For I have not been without thy favor ever since thou created me. 4 And thou, my God, art my place of flight, my asylum, my protector, my defender. 5 The loving toward me, the compassionate, and the guarantor of my provision. In thy decree lay what has settled upon me, and in thy knowledge that to which I have come home. 6 So, my patron and master, place within that which thou hast ordained, decreed, and made unavoidable for me, my well-being and that wherein lies my soundness, and my deliverance from that in which I am. 7 I hope for none to repel this other than thee, and I rely in it only upon thee. 8 O possessor of majesty and munificence, be with my best opinion of thee. 8 1. 9 Have mercy upon my frailty and the paucity of my stratagems. Remove my distress, grant my supplication, ease me from my stumble, and show kindness to me in that, and to everyone who supplicates thee. My Master, thou hast commanded me to supplicate, and undertaken to respond. 9. And thy promise is the truth, in which there is no failing, nor any change. 10. So bless Muhammad, thy prophet and servant, and the pure, the folk of his house, and help me. Surely thou art the help of him who has no help, and the stronghold of him who has no stronghold, while I am the distressed, the response to whom and the removal of evil from whom thou hast made obligatory. 11. So respond to me, remove my concern, relieve my gloom, return my state to the best it has been, and repay me not according to what I deserve, but according to thy mercy which embracest all things. 12. O possessor of majesty and munificence, bless Muhammad and the household of Muhammad. Hear, and respond, O Almighty. 60 His supplication against that which he feared and dreaded. 60 His supplication against that which he feared and dreaded. 13. 60. 1. If thou pushest me down, who will raise me up? But I know, my God, that there is no wrong in thy decree, and no hurry in thy vengeance. He alone hurries who fears to miss, and only the weak needs to wrong. But thou art exalted, my Master, high indeed above all that. For my Lord, make me not the target of affliction, nor the object of thy vengeance. Respite me, comfort me, Release me from my stumble. And send not affliction after me. For thou hast seen my frailty, and the paucity of my stratagems. So give me patience, for I, my Lord, am weak. And I plead to thee, my Lord. 5 I seek refuge in thee from thee. So give me refuge. 16. 6 I seek sanctuary in thee from every affliction. So grant me sanctuary. 7 I cover myself through thee. So cover me, my Master. From what I fear and dread. 8 Thou art the Almighty. Mightier than every mighty thing. 9 Through thee, through thee, through thee. I cover myself. 10 O God, O God, O God. O God, O God, O God. O God, O God, O God, O God. Bless Muhammad and his household. The good, the pure. 4 My Master, my Master. Thou art the giver and I the asker. Has anyone mercy upon the asker? But the giver. 5 My Master, my Master. Thou art the helper and I the seeker of help. Has anyone mercy upon the seeker of help but the helper? 6 My Master, my Master. Thou art the subsistent and I the perishing. Has anyone mercy upon the perishing but the subsistent? 7 My Master, my Master. Thou art the everlasting and I the vanishing. Has anyone mercy upon the vanishing but the everlasting? 8 My Master, my Master. Thou art the living and I the dead. Has anyone mercy upon the dead? But the living. 9 My Master, my Master. Thou art the strong and I the weak. Has anyone mercy upon the weak but the strong? 10 My Master, my Master. Thou art the rich and I the poor. Has anyone mercy upon the poor? But the rich. 11 My Master, my Master. Thou art the great and I the small. Has anyone mercy upon the small? But the great. 12 My Master, my Master. Thou art the owner and I the owned. Has anyone mercy upon the owned but the owner? 1. This verse and the following allude to the well-known Hadith Qudsi. Might is my loincloth and mightiness my cloak. If anyone contends with me in either of these, I will cast him into Gehenna. Cf. W. Graham, Divine Word and Prophetic Word. pp. 162-3, from the changes of time, and the recurrence of sorrows, from the striking of mishaps, and from the expiration of my term before preparation and readiness. 3. From thee I seek guidance to that wherein is righteousness and being set right. 4. From thee I seek help, in that which is linked to success and favorable response. 5. Thee I beseech for the garment of well-being and its completion, and for the covering of health and its permanence. I seek refuge in thee, my Lord, from the goadings of the Satans. And I seek protection in thy sovereignty, from the injustice of the sovereigns. So accept my past prayers and fasting, and make my tomorrow and what is after better than my present hour and my today. Exalt me in my clan and my people, and protect me in my waking and my sleeping. For thou art God, the best guardian, and thou art the most merciful of the merciful. 1. 6 O God, I am quit before thee, on this day of mine, and on all Sundays that follow it, of associating others with thee and of heresy. And I devote my supplication sincerely to thee, addressing myself to thy response. 7 So bless Muhammad and the household of Muhammad, the best of thy creation, the summoner to thy truth. Exalt me with thy exaltation, which is never made to suffer loss. Protect me with thy eye, which never sleeps, and seal my affair by cutting me off from everything but thee, and my life with forgiveness. Surely thou art the all-forgiving, the all-compassionate. Intellects fail before the core of knowing him. Tyrants fall low in awe of him. Faces are humbled in fear of him. 2. And everything mighty yields to his mightiness. 4 So to thee belongs praise. Again and again, well measured. Continually, methodically. 5 And may his blessings be upon his messenger endlessly. His salutation everlastingly, eternally. 6 O God, make the beginning of this day of mine righteousness, its middle prosperity, and its end success. I seek refuge in thee, from a day whose beginning is fright, whose middle is anxiety, and whose end is pain. 7 O God, I pray forgiveness from thee, for every vow I have vowed, every promise I have promised, and every pledge I have pledged, and then failed to keep for thee. 8 I ask thee concerning the complaints of thy servants against me. If there is a servant from among thy servants, or a handmaid from among thy handmaids, who has against me a complaint because I have wronged him in respect to himself, his reputation, his property, his wife or his child, evil words I have spoken about him in his absence, an imposition upon him through inclination, caprice, scorn, zeal, false show, bigotry, whether he be absent or present, alive or dead. Such that my hand has fallen short, and my capacity has been too narrow to make restitution to him, or to annul my obligation to him. 5. O God, place me among thy troops. For thy troops, they are the victors. 4. Place me in thy party. For thy party, they are the ones who prosper. 5. And place me among thy friends. For thy friends, no fear shall be upon them, nor shall they sorrow. 6. 6. O God, set right for me my religion, for it is the preserving tie of my affair. Set right for me my hereafter, for it is the abode of my permanent lodging, and to it I flee from the neighborhood of the vile. Make life an increase for me in every good, and death an ease for me from every evil. 7. O God, bless Muhammad, the seal of the prophets, and the completion of the number of the envoys, his household, the good, the pure, and his companions, the distinguished. And give me on the Tuesday 3 things. 8. Leave no sin for me unless thou forgivest it, no grief unless thou talkest it away, and no enemy unless thou repellest him. By means of, in the name of God, the best of the names. In the name of God, Lord of earth and heaven. 9. I seek to repulse every hateful thing, the first of which is his anger. And I seek to attract every lovable thing, the first of which is his good pleasure. 10. So seal me with forgiveness from thee, O patron of beneficence. The supplication for Wednesday. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. 1. Praise belongs to God, who appointed the night to be a garment, and sleep for a rest, and day he appointed for a rising. 7. 2. To thee belongs praise, for thou roused me from my sleep. And hadst thou willed, thou wouldst have made it everlasting, and everlasting praise that will never be cut off, and whose number the creatures will never count. 3. O God, to thee belongs praise. For thou created, then proportioned, ordained and decreed, gave death and bestowed life, made sick and healed, made well and afflicted, sat upon the throne and encompassed the kingdom. 8. 4. I supplicate thee with the supplication of one whose mediation is weak, whose stratagems have been cut off, whose term has drawn near, whose expectation from this world has shrunk, whose neediness for thy mercy has intensified, whose remorse for his neglect has become great, whose slips and stumbles have become many, and whose repentance is devoted sincerely to thy face. 5. So bless Muhammad, the seal of the prophets, and his household, the good, the pure. Provide me with the intercession of Muhammad. God bless him and his household, and deprive me not of his companionship. Surely thou art the most merciful of the merciful. 9. 6. O God, decree for me on Wednesday 4 things, and strip me not of thy beautiful forbearance and covering. 3. My God, let the cloud of thy mercy cast its shadow upon my sins, and send the billow of thy clemency flowing over my faults. 4. My God, does the runaway servant go back but to his master? Or does anyone grant sanctuary to him from his anger but he? 5. My God, if remorse for sins is a repentance, 1. I, by thy might, am one of the remorseful. If praying forgiveness for offenses is an alleviation, I am one of those who pray forgiveness. To thee I return, that thou may be well pleased. 6. My God, through thy power over me, turn toward me. Through thy clemency toward me, pardon me. And through thy knowledge of me, be gentle toward me. 7. My God, thou art he who hast opened a door to thy pardon, and named it repentance. For thou said, repent to God with unswerving repentance. 2. What is the excuse of him who remains heedless of entering the door after its opening? 8. My God, though the sins of thy servant are ugly, thy pardon is beautiful. 9. My God, I am not the first to have disobeyed thee, and thou turned toward him, or to have sought to attain thy favor, and thou wert munificent toward him. O responder to the distressed, O remover of injury, O great in goodness, O knower of everything secret, O beautiful through covering over, I seek thy munificence and thy generosity. To intercede with thee, I seek thy side and thy showing mercy. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. 1. My God, to thee I complain of a soul commanding to evil. 3. Rushing to offenses, eager to disobey thee, and exposing itself to thy anger. It takes me on the roads of disasters. It makes me the easiest of perishers before thee. Many its pretexts, drawn out its expectations. When evil touches it, it is anxious. When good touches it, grudging. 4. Inclining to sport and diversion. Full of heedlessness and inattention. It hurries me to misdeeds. And makes me delay repentance. To my God, I complain to thee. Of an enemy who misguides me. And a Satan who leads me astray. He has filled my breast with tempting thoughts. And his suggestions have encompassed my heart. He supports caprice against me. Embellishes for me the love of this world. And separates me from obedience and proximity. 3. My God, to thee I complain. Of a heart that is hard. Turned this way and that by tempting thoughts. Clothed in rust and the seal. 5. And of an eye too indifferent to weep in fear of thee. And eagerly seeking that which gladdens it. 4. My God, there is no force and no strength. Except in thy power. And no deliverance for me from the detested things of this world. Save through thy preservation. So I ask thee, by thy far-reaching wisdom, and thy penetrating will, not to let me expose myself to other than thy munificence, and not to turn me into a target for trials. Be for me a helper against enemies, a coverer of shameful things and faults, a protector against afflictions, a preserver against acts of disobedience, by thy clemency and mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. 3. The whispered prayer of the fearful. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate, 1. My God, what thinkest thou? Wilt thou chastise me after my faith in thee? Drive me far away after my love for thee? Deprive me while I hope for thy mercy and forgiveness? Forsake me while I seek sanctuary in thy pardon? How could thy generous face disappoint me? Would that I knew, did my mother bear me for wretchedness? Did she nurture me for suffering? Would then that she had not borne me, and had not nurtured me. Would that I had knowledge. Hast thou appointed me one of the people of felicity? Hast thou singled me out for thy nearness and neighborhood? Then would my eyes be gladdened, and in that my soul reach serenity. To my God, dost thou blacken faces which fall down in prostration before thy mightiness? Dost thou strike dumb tongues which speak in laudation of thy glory and majesty? Dost thou seal hearts which harbor thy love? Dost thou deafen ears which take pleasure in hearing thy remembrance according to thy will? Dost thou manacle hands which expectations have raised to thee, in hope of thy clemency? Dost thou punish bodies which work to obey thee, until they grew thin in struggling for thee? Dost thou chastise legs which ran to worship thee? 3. My God, lock not toward those who profess thy unity the doors of thy mercy, and veil not those who yearn for thee from looking upon the vision of thy beauty. 4. My God, a soul which thou hast exalted by its professing thy unity, how wilt thou humiliate it by the disdain of your abandonment of it? A heart knotted with its love for thee, how wilt thou burn it in the heat of thy fires? 5. My God, give me sanctuary from thy painful wrath, and thy mighty anger, O all-loving, O all-kind, O compassionate, O merciful, O compeller, O subduer, O all-forgiver, O all-covering. Deliver me through thy mercy from the chastisement of the fire, and the disgrace of shame. When the good are set apart from the evil, forms are transformed, terrors terrify. The good doers are brought near, the evildoers taken far, and every soul is paid in full what it has earned, and they shall not be wronged. 6. 1. 3. My God, I have fastened my hand to the skirt of thy generosity. I have stretched forth my expectation toward reaching thy gifts. So render me pure through the purest profession of thy unity, and appoint me one of thy choice servants. O he who is the asylum of every fleer, the hope of every seeker. O best object of hope. O most generous object of supplication. O he who does not reject his asker, or disappoint the expectant. O he whose door is open to his supplicators, and whose veil is lifted for those who hope in him. I ask thee by thy generosity to show kindness toward me, through thy gifts, with that which will gladden my eye, through hope in thee, with that which will give serenity to my soul, and through certainty with that which will make easy for me the afflictions of this world, and lift from my insight the veils of blindness. By thy mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. 1. Though my sin has made me fear thy punishment, my hope has let me feel secure from thy vengeance. Though my misdeed has exposed me to thy penalty, my excellent trust has apprised me of thy reward. Though heedlessness has put to sleep my readiness to meet thee, knowledge has awakened me to thy generosity and boons. Though excessive disobedience and rebellion have estranged me from thee, The glad tidings of forgiveness and good pleasure have made me feel intimate with thee. I ask thee by the splendors of thy face, and the lights of thy holiness, and I implore thee by the tenderness of thy mercy and the gentleness of thy goodness, to verify my opinion in expecting thy great generosity and thy beautiful favor, through nearness to thee, proximity with thee, and enjoyment of gazing upon thee. Here am I, addressing myself to the breezes of thy freshness and tenderness, having recourse to the rain of thy generosity and gentleness, fleeing from thy displeasure to thy good pleasure, and from thee to thee. 10. Hoping for the best of what is with thee, relying upon thy gifts, utterly pour toward thy guarding. To my God, thy bounty which thou hast begun, complete it. Thy generosity which thou hast given me, strip it not away. Thy cover over me through thy clemency, tear it not away. My ugly acts which thou hast come to know, forgive them. 3. My God, I seek intercession from thee with thee, and I seek sanctuary in thee from thee. I have come to thee craving thy beneficence, desiring thy kindness, seeking water from the deluge of thy graciousness, begging rain from the clouds of thy bounty, requesting thy good pleasure, going straight to thy side, arriving at the watering place of thy support. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate one. O God, inspire us to obey thee. Turn us aside from disobeying thee. Make it easy for us to reach the seeking of thy good pleasure which we wish. Set us down in the midst of thy gardens. Dispel from our insights the clouds of misgiving. Uncover from our hearts the wrappings of doubt and the veil. Make falsehood vanish from our innermost minds, and fix the truth in our secret thoughts. For doubts and opinions fertilize temptations, and muddy the purity of gifts and kindnesses. 2. O God, carry us in the ships of thy deliverance. Give us to enjoy the pleasure of whispered prayer to thee. Make us drink at the pools of thy love. Let us taste the sweetness of thy affection and nearness. Allow us to struggle in thee. 11. Preoccupy us with obeying thee, and purify our intentions in devoting works to thee. For we exist through thee and belong to thee, and we have no one to mediate with thee but thee. 3. My God, place me among the chosen, the good. Join me too, the righteous, the pious, the first to reach generous gifts, the swift to come upon good things, the workers of the abiding acts of righteousness, the strivers after elevated degrees. Thou art powerful over everything. 12. And disposed to respond, by thy mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. The highest station with thee, the most plentiful portion of thy love, and the most excellent allotment of thy knowledge. For my aspiration has been cut off from everything but thee, and my desire has turned toward thee alone. Thou art my object, none other. To thee alone belongs my waking and my sleeplessness. Meeting thee is the gladness of my eye, joining thee the wish of my soul. Toward thee is my yearning, in love for thee my passionate longing, in inclining toward thee my fervent craving. Thy good pleasure is the aim I seek, vision of thee my need, thy neighborhood my request, nearness to thee the utmost object of my asking. In whispered prayer to thee I find my repose and my ease. With thee lies the remedy of my illness, the cure for my burning thirst, the coolness of my ardor, the removal of my distress. Be my intimate in my loneliness, the releaser of my stumble, the forgiver of my slip, the acceptor of my repentance, the responder to my supplication, the patron of preserving me from sin, the one who frees me from my neediness. Cut me not off from thee and keep me not far from thee. O my bliss and my garden, O my this world and my hereafter, O most merciful of the merciful. 1. My God, who can have tasted the sweetness of thy love, then wanted another in place of thee? Who can have become intimate with thy nearness, then sought removal from thee? 2. My God, place us with him whom thou hast chosen, for thy nearness and thy friendship, purified through thy affection and thy love, given yearning for the meeting with thee, made pleased with thy decree, granted gazing upon thy face, shown the favor of thy good pleasure, given refuge from separation from thee and thy loathing, settled in a sure-sitting place in thy neighborhood, singled out for true knowledge of thee, made worthy for worship of thee, whose heart thou hast captivated with thy will, whom thou hast picked for contemplating thee, whose look thou hast made empty for thee, whose breast thou hast freed for thy love, whom thou hast made desirous of what is with thee, inspired with thy remembrance, allotted thanksgiving to thee, occupied with obeying thee, turned into one of thy righteous creatures. chosen for whispered prayer to thee, and from whom thou hast cut off all things, which cut him off from thee. 3. O God, place us among those whose habit is rejoicing in thee and yearning for thee, whose time is spent in sighing and moaning. Their foreheads are bowed down before thy mightiness, their eyes wakeful in thy service, their tears flowing in dread of thee. O furthest request of the requesters, O highest desire of the desirers, O patron of the righteous, O security of the fearful, O responder to the supplication of the distressed, O storehouse of the destitute, O treasure of the pitiful, O help of the help-seekers, O accomplisher of the needs of the poor and the miserable, O most generous of the most generous, O most merciful of the merciful. To thee is my humble subjection and request, to thee my pleading and imploring. I ask thee, to let me attain the repose of thy good pleasure, and to make constant toward me the favors of thy kindness. Here am I, standing before the gate of thy generosity, opening myself up to the breezes of thy goodness, holding fast to thy strong cord, clinging to thy firm handle. 3. My God, have mercy upon thy lowly slave, of silent tongue and few good works. Obligate him through thy plentiful graciousness, shelter him under thy plenteous shade. O generous, O beautiful, O most merciful of the merciful. 1. From their hearts and their secret thoughts, their breasts have expanded through the verification of true knowledge. Their aspirations have ascended through precedent good fortune in renunciation. Their drinking is sweet from the spring of devotion to good works. Their secret thoughts are delicious in the sitting place of intimacy. Their minds are secure in the place of terror. Their souls are serene through the return to the Lord of Lords. 14. Their spirits have reached certitude through triumph and prosperity. Their eyes have been gladdened through gazing upon their beloved. Their settling place has been settled through reaching the request and attaining the expectation. And their commerce has profited through the sale of this world for the next. 3. My God, how agreeable for hearts are the thoughts inspiring thy remembrance. How sweet traveling to thee, through imagination upon the roads of the unseen worlds. How pleasant the taste of thy love, how delightful the drink of thy nearness. So give us refuge from thy casting out and thy sending far. And place us among the most elect of thy knowers, the most righteous of thy servants, the most truthful of thy obeyers, the most sincere of thy worshippers. O Almighty, O Majestic, O Generous, O Endower, by thy mercy and kindness, O most merciful of the merciful. 1. My God, were it not incumbent to accept thy command, I would declare thee far too exalted for me to remember thee. For I remember thee in my measure, not in thy measure. And my scope can hardly reach the point where I may be a locus for calling thee holy. Among thy greatest favors to us is the running of thy remembrance across our tongues, and thy permission to us to supplicate thee, declare thee exalted, and call thee holy. 2. My God, inspire us with thy remembrance, alone and in assemblies, by night and day, publicly and secretly, in prosperity and adversity. Make us intimate with silent remembrance. Employ us in purified works and effort pleasing to thee, and reward us with the full balance. 3. My God, love-mad hearts are enraptured by thee. Disparate intellects are brought together by knowing thee. Hearts find no serenity except in remembering thee. 15. Souls find no rest except in seeing thee. Thou art the glorified in every place, the worshipped at every time, the found at every moment, the called by every tongue, the magnified in every heart. I pray forgiveness from thee for every pleasure but remembering thee, every ease but intimacy with thee, every happiness but nearness to thee, every occupation but obeying thee. For my God, thou hast said, and thy word is true, O you who have faith, remember God with much remembrance. In whom shall I seek refuge, if I seek not shelter in thy power? In whom shall I seek shelter? Sins have made me seek asylum in laying hold on the skirts of thy pardon. Offenses have compelled me to beg the opening of the doors of thy forgiveness. Evildoing has summoned me to dismount in the courtyard of thy might. Fear of thy vengeance has prompted me to cling to the handhold of thy tenderness. It is not right for him who holds fast to thy cord to be abandoned, nor proper for him who seeks the sanctuary of thy might to be surrendered or disregarded. My God, empty us not of thy defending, strip us not of thy guarding, and protect us from the roads of destruction. For we are in thy eye and under thy wing. I ask thee, by those whom thou hast singled out, thy angels and the righteous among thy creatures, to assign over us a protector through which thou wilt deliver us from destructions, turn aside from us blights, and hide us from the striking of great afflictions, to send down upon us some of thy tranquility, to wrap our faces in the lights of love for thee, to give us haven in thy strong pillar, 18, and to gather us under the wings of thy preservation, by thy clemency and thy mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. Though in the present context the word hack translates best as "right," it has a number of closely related meanings which should be kept in mind, such as suitableness, justice, truth, reality, correctness, properness, appropriateness, necessity, incumbency, obligation, due, and duty. A glance at the treatise on rights will quickly show that the word rights might better have been translated as duties, obligations, or responsibilities, since the treatise is not directly concerned with the rights of the individual, but rather with the rights of others which the individual must observe. Nevertheless, I think it is important to preserve the term rights, if only to show that in considering human rights primarily in terms of responsibilities, Islam diverges profoundly from most modern Western views, though it has deep kinships with other religious traditions of East and West. Islam views the individual in his total context, which means that it considers first his relationship with God, then his relationship with God's creatures. What is important for the individual in his relationship with God is that he attain to salvation, or in other words, that he follow God's guidance, which is based upon mercy and directed toward his own best interest. In short, Islam devalues the individual's perspective, since human beings on their own can see no further than their immediate interests during life. But this devaluation of individualism is not a devaluation of the individual. On the contrary, it raises him to the ultimate pinnacle of importance, since everything is directed toward his happiness in the next world. Islam merely recognizes the ignorance of human beings and their inability to perceive their own ultimate good without divine guidance. Then it sets about to undermine and destroy individual ignorance, a process which involves deflating the ego and eliminating all self-centered desires. As a result, the human self or soul nafs has few rights, but many duties and responsibilities. Or rather, the soul has only one true right, the right to salvation. The individual's right to salvation follows naturally upon God's right, which is to be worshipped without any partner, i.e. tawhid. The way to salvation is to obey God, and hence it is the soul's right to be employed in obedience toward him. By his very nature, since his mercy precedes his wrath, God displays compassion and guidance, and through obedience the servant opens himself up to the full range of this compassion. In other words, partaking of God's mercy and compassion depends upon following his guidance, and following his guidance means following the Sharia as revealed through the Quran and the Sunnah. Hence the Imam speaks of being employed in obedience, as the self's key right, since only that can bring about its deliverance. As soon as this wide context for attaining to the right of the self is envisaged, dozens of duties become obligatory upon the individual. The Imam makes clear that the primary duties are toward the various organs and activities of the self, since these determine man's relationship to God. The organs have rights because they share in the individual's destiny. The resurrection of the body is taken for granted. Therefore, as here and also in 38:67, immediately after mentioning the great Naba, i.e. news, it is being disputed is mentioned, is the best evidence that the great Naba is the Khilafat al-Lahiyya, i.e. the vicegerency of God. In the extent of the dispute, no other religious questions can be compared with. Even people who have accepted all the fundamental articles of faith in Islam, such as Iman Billah, i.e. faith in God, the revealed scriptures and his apostle and the angels and the resurrection day, have failed in believing in the fact that God is always represented by a man on the earth who is the closest one to God by his absolute submission abdiyat, and the closest one to each individual soul by virtue of annihilation of limitations and temporal tendencies. In short, the man who has attained the state of fana phila, the absolute absorption, baqiya billah, al asserting himself as entirely God's instrument. 14. Ali being the first man declared by the Quran and the Holy Prophet to be of this attainment, and the Holder of the absolute vicegerency of God Khilafat and Wilayati Mutlaka. Some commentators such as Mohiuddin al-Arabi and others have suggested that the great news here and in 38:67 refers to Wilaya, or the vicegerency of Ali ibn Abu Talib, and no wonder this is the last vital test of man's submission to God's authority. Thus, in verse 4 and 5, Quran assures that man shall come to realize about the importance of that news. In the subsequent verses forwards, the process of creation is the evidence of the divine designs and the purposefulness of the creation which shall be achieved in the resurrection, from which can easily be inferred that such an important process of bringing up the matter from the lowest stage of its nebular form to the highest stage of the human form, cannot be without the ministry of a central entity, as the medium between the absolute and the finite realms, species and entities. No society in its scientific sense is possible to take shape without a center of gravitation as the medium. In man, the highest organism, which is termed to be a microcosm, is in process towards the resurrection, which means a formation of a greater society wherein each man or a microcosm shall function as a part, cannot be left without a center, and the center of every society is formed prior to the formation of its satellite. On this basis the imamate or the Khilafat of man was started first, and then the propagation of humanity followed, and this imamate will continue till the human society assumes its final form. Thus, Ibn Arabi says, the resurrection day and Wilayati Ali are different aspects of one reality. He is the great news, and he is the Ark of Noah. He has confined in him, rather he is the embodiment of perfection in theory and practice. AP. Verse 3. This verse clarifies the meaning further. It is an undeniable historic fact that it was the announcement of the succession of Ali to the Holy Prophet made it Godr come, with which the people differed the most and also doubted if what the Holy Prophet did was in fact at God's command or at his own instance out of his love for Ali. 15. Relating the instance of Harith ibn Numan al-Qari questioning the Holy Prophet about the announcement he made at Godr about Ali and how he, at his own choice, received the wrath of God. 16. What is said in this verse about the great announcement is true for even to this day. The announcement made by the Holy Prophet about Ali succeeding him is still the topic debated by some of the Muslims, although it is a historic fact acknowledged on all hands that the Holy Prophet acted only in response to the command from God. 17. At the announcement of which, Islam was declared by God, he himself to have perfected the religion and the bounties of God to have been perfected, and God having been pleased, Islam to be the religion of mankind. 18. Verse 6 refers to the surface of the earth on which things develop. AP. Verse 7. The existence of lofty mountains effects in changing the course of earthquake. 19. AP. Verse 12. Meaning 20 strongly fixed in a fixed systematic constitution, without any defect or without any weakness, to give way to any failure. May refer the 7 planets above the earth in comparison to their distance to the sun, and it may also refer to the 7 non-physical spheres beyond the material and the starred realms. AP. Verse 13. References to the sun in the center of the solar system. 21. This is a metaphorical reference to the Holy Prophet. Verse 14. Moasarat, the state when the cloud is transformed from a vapor into a liquid shower by the pressure of the temperature, squeezing. AP. Verse 17. That day, the true and the false, the good and the bad, will be separated, everything will be laid bare in its reality. 22. Verse 18. The angel will be the one who will blow the trumpet, which will give effect to all the violent changes in the present state of existence, heralding the dawn of the day or the hour of the final judgment. 23. People will rise from their graves and run to report to the seat of judgment in hosts, under their respective religious leaders. 24. Once when the Holy Prophet was in the house of Abu Ayyub Ansari, Ma'az ibn Jabal asked him about the Naba al-Adhim. The Holy Prophet said, certainly it is a very great thing. Then with tears in his eyes continued, Ma'az, 10 kinds of my followers will be presented for judgment. 1. Some will be with the face of monkeys, and they will be the backbiters and the tail bearers. 2. Some with the face of swine, and they will be those who ate the forbidden things. 3. Some walking on the heads, and they will be the usurers who earned interest on their lendings. 4. Some blind who have acted unjustly. 5. Some deaf and dumb who had been proud of their righteous deeds. 6. Some biting their tongues which will be hanging on their breasts with a liquid giving out the foulest smell, flowing out of their tongues which will be tormenting the people assembled there, and they will be unjust judges, the hypocrites among the lemma, i.e. the scholars who preached piety and goodness to the others, but they themselves behaved otherwise, i.e. contrary to their own admonition to the others. 7. Some with their hands and legs severed. They will be the ones who teased their neighbors. 8. Some will be hanging on the gallows of fire, they will heed the critics who sought the defects and the shortcomings of the others. 9. Some from whom will be coming out a very foul smell, and they will heed those who defying the limits of the law prescribed by God, in seeking enjoyment of their carnal desires and passions, the fulfillment of their selfish desires, and those who obstructed the dispensation of the rights of others and depriving the others from getting their legitimate due. 10. And some will be clad in the garments made of kataran, a kind of oily matter which will be sticking to one another, and they will be the proud and the haughty ones. It has already been given under the concerned verses that sour is plural of soret, the blow in the forms mean the time when everything will assume its final form, and according to authentic traditions, narrated by both schools of thought, that on the resurrection day, people will be grouped in accordance with their deeds and characters, formed in the present life, and each group will assume the form after its character. Some will assume the form, worse than the form of swine and dogs, and that shows the body in the hereafter will be the manifestation of the soul. However, it has nothing to do with the doctrine of the transmigration, i.e. the return of the departed soul to a physical body through birth in this terrestrial realm. All these sorts of references in the Quran deal with the life hereafter which is beyond the terrestrial realm. AP. Verse 20. Mountain means something firm and stable. But when it's moving and the transitory condition is realized, it appears that the idea of a mountain was only a mirage. AP. Verse 23. Aqab is the plural of Hukab, and the Holy Prophet said that a Hukab is the duration of 80 and more years, and each year of an especially long duration of thousands of years in the terms of our present calculations. The first holy Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib was asked by Bilal as to the length of a Hukab, which is ordinarily taken, and he replied, that a Hukab is of 80 years, and each year of 12 months, and each month of 30 days, and each day of 1,000 years. Then Ali said that Hukab, which will continue one after the other before those committed to hell are taken out of it. About the duration of the stay in hell and heaven, see 11, 107 and 11. 108. The continuous chain of the Aqab is for the disbelievers who will never be out of the hellfire ms. According to the Al-Bayt, Aqab is for those who ultimately will be released. AP. Verse 25. Gusak 25 feet is a liquid with intolerable foul smell. A recompense from thy Lord, an award according to the reckoning 2 inches 78. 36. The Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them too, the beneficent God. They shall possess not the right of addressing 378. 37. On the day whereon shall stand the Spirit and the angels arrayed, they shall speak not save he whom the beneficent God giveth leave for, who spoke only the truth 78. 38. That is the day certain, whoso then desireth, may take refuge unto his Lord. 578. 39. Verily have we warned you of a chastisement nigh at hand, the day when man shall see what have sent before his 2 hands, and when the disbeliever shall say, Oh, would that I were dust. 78. 40. Commentary. Verse 31. For the Faz al-Adhim, i.e. the great achievement 6. Read the verse with Wajalan lil mutakina imaman. It will mean that the mutakin, or the pious ones, shall have their salvation through their imams. AP. Verse 36. The recompense from the Lord will not be in the degree equal to the goodness, but more, as the gift and the grace from God in addition to it. Verse 37. None will have any power or right to question the decision of the Lord. 7. Addressing him, as a pleader or addressing the others. 7. 46 to 49, or as explained in the next verse. AP. Verse 38. Ruh, i.e. spirit, reference to the messenger angel Gabriel, being superior to all the angels, and the nearest one to God and the one who conveyed messages from God to his apostles and who after the conclusion of the apostleship with the Holy Prophet Muhammad stayed with the holy Imams, the chief of the angels 8. It is clear by this verse in chapter 97, for that Ruh and MECCA are two different intellectual entities of the non-physical sphere. It will give as to who is permitted by God to address him for blessings and address the others to convey his blessings. AP. Verse 39. Read this verse with 25. 57 The only way to salvation is the mawaddat, or love of those attached in body and mind to the last apostle of God. AP. Verse 40. When a disbeliever and the sinner will see the wrath of God and the punishment they had to meet in the blissful life, the reward for the believers and the righteous, this is what the souls of the wicked ones would desire. 1. Refer to 44, 57, 45, 30, 25, 75. 2. Refer to 11, 105, 70. 4. 97. 4. 3. To plead or addressing God, refer to 7. 46. 49 is explained in the next verse. 4. He whom the permission will be given, will be the one who spoke nothing but truth, the Holy Prophet. Refer to 53. 3. 53. 4. Refer to 4. 85. 19. 87. 20. 101. 21. 28. 34. 23. 39. 44. 74. 48. 10. 3. 43. 86. 5. Refer to 25. 57. 6. C 44. 57. 45. 30. 7. C 11. 105. 8. C 70. 4. 97. 4. 16. 2. 9. Refer to 53. 2 to 4. 43. 86. 2. 143. 3. 18. Commentary. Verse 1. The Arabic alphabet is used to indicate the swearing, i.e. by the angels who tear out the souls of the disbelievers from their bodies. The beginning of this surah is like that of Surah 77. The swearing by the angels and the other forces and the elements in nature might not give the true sense of the gravity of the act to those ignorant of the greatness of the things or the phenomenon, but those who know how great and mysterious are the things and the functioning of the natural phenomena would realize the seriousness or the importance of the occasion for God to do it, and how great and vital the thing must be to mankind that the gracious God announces of it with so much stress. Though the souls of the disbelievers are loath to part with their physical body, they are dragged out violently by force. In the first, second and the third verses the reference is to the forces which are working preparatory to put an object into motion, i.e. to draw forth, to remove obstacles, to put into motion. Then in verse 4, competition starts, hence the need of administration referred to in verse 5. The question is whether the forces are angelic, natural or human. Considering the fact that the chain of the forces working in the universe reverts to God and one precedes the other harmoniously, there is no reason for restricting to any particular force. 19. The same is throughout these verses. AP. Verse 2. By the angels who gently cause the